If you want to sell more, stop selling. Stay tuned because this video right now is going to impact your entire sales process. You're going to see something right now that you might not have ever seen. So just stick around right now because I'm going to unpack some incredible bonus tips right now for you that will actually end up making you a sales rock star if you follow this process. But before we do that, be sure to go ahead and subscribe to this channel right now so that you have this sales content continually being fed to you so that you are an absolute sales rock star. So I said this, if you want to sell more, stop selling. So here's what I mean by that. Let's look at the sales process. I'm going to get right now into the mindset of a sales rock star so you can see exactly what a sales rock star is thinking when they jump on the phone or when they're in an appointment. When you look at the selling process, here's what you want to do, is you want to break it down into compartments. So I break it down into 4 compartments. So think of it like this. In a ship, when you've got a ship that's out in the ocean, in order for that ship not to be punctured and for the entire ship to sink to the bottom of the ocean, the ship is broken up into compartments so that if water starts getting into this compartment here, they can shut off the valve, so guess what? The water does not seep into these other compartments. So that's how you have to view the entire sales process. You've got to look at it as compartments and that you are not moving from one compartment to the next until you've satisfied that compartment. So you shut off the valve and then that allows you to move to the next compartment. So the first compartment is this, is you always want to go ahead and connect. You want to connect in the first compartment. The second compartment is where you qualify. The third compartment is when you present. And then the fourth compartment is where you close. So let's talk about each one of these compartments so that you are not jumping ahead. Because if you want to sell more, stop selling. So we've got to really concentrate right here on the first compartment. So the first compartment is connecting with the other individual, finding common ground. So when I jump on a phone call with somebody, I'm not thinking about the second compartment. I'm not thinking about the third compartment. I am not thinking about the fourth compartment. I want to make sure that I'm focused on the first compartment, which is the connecting. So in the connecting phase, what I want to do in the connecting phase is this. I'll start out with, how have you been? How have you been? I'm not asking how they're doing. I'm asking how they've been. I'm trying to go ahead and connect. I'm trying to establish a prior relationship with this person, even though it might be the first time that I know them or that I've met them. So, how have you been? I want to start using first names right off the bat. I want to start finding some common ground. See, the great thing about us as human beings is this, is that we all have something in common. You have something in common with me. I don't know what that is yet, but you have something in common with me. Somebody else that's watching this video has something in common with me that might not be the same thing that you and I have in common, but we have something in common. Each person has something that they have in common. It might be that I love music. You love music. Somebody else might not love music, but they love something else that I have in common with them. So each person has something that they have in common with each other. I have kids. You might have kids. We have something in common. You might not have kids, but we have something else in common. So you see what I'm saying is in this compartment, in this first compartment, when you're connecting with somebody, make sure that you're starting out with, hey, how have you been? Start using their first names repeatedly so it starts connecting. Find some common ground with that individual. Because guess what? If I cannot connect with you or I can't connect with that other person that I'm talking to, I can't move to the second compartment. I have to go ahead and stay in that first compartment until I've had a connection. I found some common ground. Once I have been able to connect, there's some common ground. Right here in the connection phase, I'm trying to find laughter. if I can get that other person to chuckle, laugh, it might be even a stupid dad joke. If I can get them to laugh, guess what? I'm accomplishing the compartment number 1. I'm now giving myself permission to move to compartment number 2, which is the qualification phase. See, a big mistake that a lot of salespeople make is this: they try to cram both of these together. They try to cram the connection, the qualification all in one thing without really paying attention to the connection phase. And this right here is the most important. I've had many sales that started with the connection, and we had connected so well with each other that they would have bought anything from me. But guess what? I got to the qualification stage and I couldn't find a problem. So in the qualification stage, this is where you focus on the problem. I have a book called Sell the Problem, Not the Solution. Sell the problem, not the solution. In the qualification stage, you're looking for the problem. You're looking for the pain point in this stage. I have to make sure that in the qualification stage, I'm starting to ask them questions to uncover the pain point. See, once I've connected with the individual, once I've found some common ground, once I've got a little laughter. So I just gave you a really big tidbit right now for staying on long enough with me to listen to the sales process. And here it is. Kudos to you for sticking around. Laughter will connect with someone else. If you get them to laugh or chuckle, you've already won half the battle. You've now connected with that person. You're now able to move to the second stage, which is the qualification stage. So guess what? If I cannot find a problem with this individual, guess what? It stops at the second stage. The phone call is over. The appointment is over because I was not able to find a problem. I was not able to find a pain point with this individual. See, the problem is this, is if you want to sell more, stop selling, is most salespeople will jump right into the third stage, which is presenting. And they're going ahead and they're talking about the features and benefits. So in the presentation stage, they're starting to talk about the features and benefits without connecting with the person, without finding the problem, and they're just regurgitating stuff that is unfortunately going in one ear to the prospect and out the other. So I'm going to give you a key thing, is once you've discovered the pain point, once you've connected with somebody, okay, when you're talking about the features and benefits, you always want to tie the features and benefits back to the problem. I just gave you another big, massive sales clue right there. See, most salespeople, what they'll do is they'll just start talking about the features and benefits and just start feature dumping without any strategy, without any plan in place. When I'm talking about the features and benefits, I'm tying back to the problem. So if I'm talking to somebody, let's say Medicare sales, that's concerned about keeping their doctors and want to make sure all their doctors accept this Medicare Advantage plan or this Medicare supplement plan, Medigap plan, I'm going to tie in the features and benefits back to that problem. So Jim, Joe, Sally, here is how this benefit takes care of your problem, which you told me was this, and this. I'm always tying back the features and benefits back to the problem, back to the pain point. So you've stuck around long enough. We're turning a corner right now. And I'm going to give you something right now just because you stayed on long enough to watch this. And I saved this for you. During the qualification stage, during the pain point, here's something you want to use on every single phone call. You ready? How does that make you feel. Put that in every sales presentation, every sales process. When you uncover the problem, say those magic words. How does that make you feel? You know what? Hey, let me ask you a question. You want to go ahead and see all of your doctors. That's a big thing that you said is a problem. You want to make sure that you see all your doctors. How does that make you feel? How would that make you feel if you couldn't see those doctors? Dig into that pain point, and the way you do it, how does that make you feel? We are emotional creatures, and we work on emotion. You're tying into the emotion when you say, how does that make you feel? So write that down, make that a note in this video. That is a crucial, massive tip that I just gave you right here. How does that make you feel? So once I'm giving the presentation, once I'm going over the features and benefits, I am tying it back to the problem. This is where a lot of salespeople make mistakes. If they just go ahead and feature dump, and they just expect that to sell the product or the service for them. No, when you're talking about the features and benefits, you're tying it back to the problem. So what? During this presentation stage, they want it. They want it. They're starting to go ahead and they're starting to verbalize that they want this problem solved by this feature and benefit. And that's when you move into the fourth stage, which is the close, where they buy it and they own it. So what I'd always do is this in the want stage, and back to the problem, I'd already start tying back into the buy it, the own it, by actually having them own the company and the product or service that I was selling to them. So if I was selling them a Medigap supplement plan or Medicare Advantage plan, I would end up telling them, okay, so when you go to the doctor, you're going to show them this card with this company name on it. I'm already having them own it before we've gotten to the close stage. So by the time I get to the close stage, they're already buying it. Okay? So here is another massive tip, because you stayed on long enough to watch this entire video. And I'm going to wrap up with this right now. What about if this doesn't work? What about if you've done everything right in your mind and it hasn't worked? Here's what you have to do. You have to, when you get to the close and it doesn't work out and you don't close that person, you have to reverse engineer it. Reverse engineer. So what I would do is when I got to the end of a phone call and I didn't close that person, what I would do is this, is I would reverse engineer the process. I would go back over all 4 of these compartments and I would start asking myself, okay, what compartment did you not spend enough time on? What compartment did you lack on? And guess what? Whenever I would reverse engineer it, I would always find in my mind what I did wrong. I'd say, you know what, Greg? There was the problem, there was the pain point. You didn't ask them how it made them feel. You did not get them emotionally involved in the problem. Then you got to the features and benefits. And yes, you know what? You tied it back. You talked about the problem, but they didn't feel it. And now you can start seeing that the problem was not that you didn't sell them something that solved their problem. The problem was that you weren't focused enough on that compartment. So as we end right now, looking at these 4 compartments, you cannot jump from one compartment to the next without satisfying that compartment. So look at it as a checklist. Is first, I want to make sure that I'm connecting. I'm trying to get some laughter. I'm trying to get some chuckle from them. Once I've done that, then that allows me to move to the second compartment and qualify. Many phone calls have stopped right here at the second compartment. because I could not qualify them. You could not qualify them. You couldn't find the problem. You couldn't find the pain point. There was none. And so the call ended right here. But if we find the pain point, you found the problem, how does that make you feel? They start really verbalizing emotionally how it's going to make them feel. Now is when you can move to the third compartment and present to them. But when you're presenting to them, you're not just talking about features and benefits. You're talking about features and benefits that tie back into the problem so that they want it. And they start verbalizing to you that they want it. And then once that happens, then you give yourself the right to go to the fourth compartment and close it, where they buy it and they own it. So look at your sales process like this. Connect, qualify, present, and then close. If you want to sell more, stop selling and focus on each compartment. Because once you start jumping compartments without fully satisfying that compartment first, you are not going to sell consistently. And my goal for you right now is this. I want you to sell consistently, and here's the formula. Here's what to do. Now get out there today and be an absolute sales rock star and follow the process, follow the compartments.